Angel Chakma, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Angel or Angel Chakma, a young lad from the northeastern state of Tripura in India, died on Christmas Day 2025. He had gone to Dehradun in North India to study and went out one evening to buy some stuff. A few drunkards heckled him, and when he protested, beat him up with iron rods. They kept calling him Chinki, an absolutely horrible racial slur in India, used to refer to people from Northeast India who have Mongoloid features. About the last words he said before he lost consciousness, and these may have been the last words he ever uttered, was to say, "I am an Indian." I want to focus on two aspects of this incident, and I may revert to this theme in a subsequent podcast. The first is the subject of racism. Today, many Indians protest against the treatment people in other countries dish out to them, and they accuse such people of racism, and they adopt the garb of a victim, claiming that Hindus are under attack. You will find this mentality amongst Jewish and Christian Zionists, very Orthodox Muslims, Buddhists, Muslims, Sikhs, all who are ultra Orthodox and militant. You will find the same kind of mentality. Elon Musk protests at what he calls discrimination of whites in South Africa, while remaining silent about the treatment of Palestinians or the discrimination that historically has been prevalent in America against blacks and Native American Indians. So this is something which we have to believe. We have to accept. What is racism? Racism is a system of beliefs, practices, and institutional arrangements that assign values, status, and power on the basis of perceived racial differences. They enhance, let's say, prejudice, discrimination, and create structural inequality. I don't know if you would include discrimination based on caste in the definition of racism, but if you wish to cast the net wide, then yes. You can discriminate on the basis of religion, wealth, power. In India, Hindus discriminate against Muslims, citing an alleged 1,000-year torture or mistreatment at the hands of Muslim rulers. Yet at the same time, these Hindus cry when someone smacks them in, let's say, Australia, and the same Hindus have no problem in creating caste-based discrimination in India. And maybe we should all throw our hands up and say, humans are racist, let's just accept it, and let's just move on, live our lives, and screw everybody else. And if we do that, then we just give up on humanity. And, some like to claim that Indians are more racist than people from other countries, but there is no proof or no data that supports any such thesis. So let's assume that everybody is equally racist. And if you just walk down history, you're going to find examples of extreme racism across the world. So the question is, should we give up? And if we do, then we will perpetuate a cycle of abuse and discrimination. And despite all our wonderful technology, we would not have gained any wisdom. Instead, we can turn to and explore humanism. Humanism is a stance that centers on human dignity, agency, and reason, promoting human welfare and ethical treatment without assigning any sort of supernatural justification. Humanism supplies an ethical framework for valuing all people equally. Now, here I have to pause and offer a few thoughts. When I started my journey in photography, I photographed poor people, and I reveled in photographing poor people and, let's say, glorifying their poverty. You can call this a kind of poverty porn, and I said this earlier. And I did not give them the dignity that they deserve. A chance conversation changed my approach to photography and to photographing people, and I began trying to photograph people while capturing the inherent dignity that we all have. And I have been trying to treat my subjects with respect. Sometimes a smile and a conversation over a cup of chai is all that we need to break barriers and to melt the ice. When you go out on journeys or to the street, do you stare at people as though they came from a different planet? Once, many years ago, I worked with the German company Bayer, or Bayer as the Americans pronounce it, and traveled to Rengsdorf in Germany. At the end of the program, the Germans, my German colleagues, packed their bags and left without bothering to ask if the three of us Asians who had to catch flights the next day needed any assistance or guiding or any sort of assistance or advice for how to spend the evening. So that evening, the three of us, the Filipino, the Korean, and me, the Indian, walked down to eat dinner at a Chinese restaurant in Rengsdorf. A group of young Germans stopped their play and they stared at us as if we had come from Pluto or maybe Neptune. And to their credit, they did not heckle us. So when you pick up your camera and go out to photograph people, look into their eyes. I believe that when you look into people's eyes and connect with them, you give them the dignity that they deserve. You give them the dignity that is due to every one of us. If we want to be treated with respect, we need to treat others with respect. And I do believe that if you start your photography keeping the principles of humanism in mind and treating people with respect, treating people with compassion, you will portray people in a completely different manner compared to a situation where you just treat people with contempt. Think about this and share your thoughts. I intend to continue the conversation in the next episode, quoting a specific incident that took place a few years ago. Before I go, I want to leave you with one more thought. Better photography begins with better humanity. And in the meanwhile, stop that chinky bullshit. That is absolute crap. That's absolute rubbish. So yes, stop that chinky bullshit. So see you in the next episode. Share your thoughts and do subscribe. Spread the word. Rajiv Chopra from the Dusty Mike Chronicles saying goodbye for now. Ciao.